Hello, and welcome back to the Very Real Estate Effect podcast, a show dedicated to real estate investing right here in Quebec. And this week we have some Montreal-based investors. So hello, Angela and Joey.
Hello, thanks for having us.
The power couple.
Yeah, it is the power couple. I'm quite happy to have you guys today. I can't wait for us to dive into it because you guys have a really inspiring and successful story to share with our audience, and you're very Montreal based, so it's great for everyone. But before we get into it, I just want to remind our audience, if you want to keep supporting us, please leave us a rating, share it with a friend who you think could benefit from listening to this. And it will just take us a long way because the algorithms really helps the feedback and the ratings and so on. So give us a hand. Thank you very much. Now, Joey and Angela. All right, so I'm just going to start with an introduction, and Dino, please feel free to jump in as any moment you want. I got to know you guys through the Wednesday meetup. You two are co-hosts on it, on the Real Estate Investors of Montreal group. It's a Facebook base. I think it's about 2,500 members now, so it's quite something.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's been growing like crazy. We have a lot of fun on those calls.
Yeah, and there's a lot of information sharing. I know I join whenever I can, and Dino is a regular over there to share, to learn, make contacts, and so on. So before we go any further and dive into the real estate, so first of all, like how you guys weren't born as real estate investors. So what did you do before, and how did you get started?
Nope, and we didn't have it in our families. When we met, Joey was working in renovations, and I had already been investing in real estate for maybe 10 years. So I did it on the side while I was working at Randstad. And when we met, it kind of was a good combination, and we took off a little bit. We started doing Airbnbs. And when we both decided to do this full time is when it really started to explode.
Mm-hmm.
When was that?
November. 1 year ago.
1 year ago. Wow. Okay, just to put the audience up to date, I've met these people, Angela and Joey, through the exact group you were saying, Axel. And I was on these meetups that they have every Wednesday morning. So you have like-minded people, real estate investor from the area. And there I meet Angela and Joey. Had a great vibe and doing a lot of deals. But these guys are doing deals like there's no tomorrow. You know, we were talking about with the other podcast we did, we said you get the education and after you have to take action. Believe me, these guys take action. I mean, They've done so many deals. I can't believe it. So, and they're all over the place. Quebec, they're in Moncton, New Brunswick, and they're buying all over the place with everybody. And they got the partnership thing to another level.
Yeah.
So I think this helped you grow. And
Absolutely.
I had the privilege to go to lunch with you guys a few times. We had a blast, talked about real estate and all that. So great couple. It's fun to see that some people that are really a couple in life and growing their real estate portfolio. And you guys started not like a year ago and you exploded like this. I can't hear the story. I can't wait to hear about the story. So the dance floor is yours.
Yeah. So, just to put things back into perspective, you said you've exploded. Like roughly how many units have you acquired in the last year?
45.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty good. Okay. So, and then I understand a lot of them is through partnerships. And I was hoping that today we take a little bit of time to go to dive deeper into it, because partnership is something that triggers a lot of questions. And so, first of all, like do you find partners and then you find a property? Like, how do you make it work?
Sometimes we couldn't have gotten this far without partners. That's for sure. It started out of necessity because we ran out of debt to income room. And we didn't have full-time jobs, so we couldn't get mortgages anymore. So we started the partnership model, when we started it, we went finding the partners and then finding the properties. Now we start by finding the deal first and then figuring out how we're going to pay for it, and then figuring out who's going to be the partner, who's going to bring in the renovation money and hold the mortgage afterwards.
Commit to it and figure it out after.
100%. And it was the same thing when I left my job. We didn't have a plan, but I knew that I had to commit in order to figure something out. So that's actually very good advice.
But it was also sort of happenstance of the market. The market was moving so quickly. We had to be able to jump onto properties. You found a deal, you couldn't let it go. So you know how Montreal and Quebec has been all through last year. It was just going up, 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 up. Everybody was buying things within seconds, things going crazy money above asking, multiple offers. So we needed to be able to move quickly, and trying to convince an investor, a partner on a property just takes too much time when the deal isn't solidified. Once we went out, we jumped on something, we got something, and we made the sort of pitch with the numbers and how the deal works, it was an easy sell for people. It was an easy buy-in at that point. It was there, it's not a bidding process and all of that,
It's tangible. So it's easy for them to wrap their head around it,
Yeah.
And then for you, it's also a lot easier because it speeds up the decision-making process whenever you pitch investors. Like, here's what we have, here's the property, here are the numbers, here's how much we're going to close at, here's how much we need for the reno, here's the after repair value, are you in, are you out, and here's more or less what you can expect as a return. So it's a much easier pitch and sell.
Yeah, and that's pretty much exactly how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're doing one differently this time because we have partners in Spain who have been wanting to get into this with us. So we found a building after discussing with them. It took longer actually because the criteria was a little bit more specific coming from the partners as opposed to just a good deal.
And so, for example, like, how did you have a prior relationship with these people in Spain? Like, how did it happen?
Oh yes, we've been friends with them since university.
Okay.
Which was a long time ago. So yeah.
Not that long.
A few years back.
Almost 30 years. I was saying to Tommy.
We were talking about the numbers of zeros before,
Yeah, add a zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of our partners, we didn't necessarily know. Several of them did come from our real estate investing group on Wednesdays, but there were times when we had to go to market with the deal and find people who would be interested.
Okay. And so in order for the audience here and for really to be able to share with them how you make it work so they can hopefully be inspired and kind of do the same. So you find a property that's appealing to you, that meets your criterias, you put it under contract, and then it's within your 45 day to close that you really hustle.
We never have 45 days to close. So one of the ways that we're able to get properties under contract is by not having a financing condition and putting closing date within a few weeks. So the pressure is on. I mean, it's kind of a high pressure cooker situation generally. So step one after we get the deal under contract is to find private money through Olympia Trust. And I think this is different than the way a lot of other people do partnerships. A lot of people partner by getting a conventional mortgage from the beginning. But in order to we specialize in the BRRRR strategy. So in order to do a true BRRRR, you have to bring in conventional financing at the end. So we tried with our first partnership to do conventional financing at the beginning. And I've repeated this story several times, but 1 week before closing, their mortgage broker admitted that they hadn't submitted the file yet for approval. So we had no choice but to find cash. So I went to Facebook and said, I need $175,000 by next week. And somebody came back to me within 20 minutes and said that they could help. So we realized at that point that it's faster if we go with private money. And the other advantage is a lot of banks aren't going to finance the types of properties that we're buying. They'll only finance them once we get the work done. So we get the deal, number one. Number two, we get the private money, generally through Olympia Trust. And then once that's taken care of, we find a partner who wants to do this long marriage. It's a long-term commitment. And at this point, I think we have 10 partners and they're all very different. And yes, so when it comes to choosing partners, I don't know if you want to jump into that right
Sure,
away.
but I just want to understand though. So you would close with the funds from Olympia Trust, which is a short-term lender, and then you would close even if you haven't found your partner yet. You're going to start your work, start your renovations and stuff because you have 3 to 6 months ahead of you. It's just you got to find a partner to be able to refinance and do your takeout.
I don't think we've ever made it to close without funding the partner.
Okay.
As soon as we find the money, we go straight away to trying to find a partner. Okay. And it is getting easier because of the we're building a track record and we've made a lot of connections. So we have a list of people who are kind of warm to hot leads. I'm regularly doing calls with people who are interested in maybe doing something like this with us. So we're starting with a CRM and I have our assistant putting in all of the contacts in there. So I suspect the process is going to become less stressful as we put these systems in place, which haven't been in place really up till now.
Mm-hmm. You were saying before you have 10 partnerships. So that means 10 human beings, 10 different partners. How do you manage having these different type of partners? I mean, some love taking risks. Some are probably going to like less risk. So how do you gauge that and how do you manage that?
Well, we have discovery calls, if you want to call them, before committing, where we get to understand what are their goals, how much do they have to invest, how comfortable are they, how long are they comfortable having that money tied up, what are their long-term goals. We talk about our process and see if it's a good fit. And it's not always a good fit. I mean, there are many people that we've gotten on the phone with who we decide it's not the right fit for a partnership. So all the partners that we have, we really like them personally. They're people that we'd hang out with. We have the same long-term goals for real estate investing. Everybody wants to buy and hold. They want it for the cash flow. They want it for long-term wealth building. So I wouldn't get into a partnership with somebody that we didn't see eye to eye on all of those things. So we're pretty easy to get along with too. I mean, the partners they all have their own, I kind of let them set the pace, let's say. So how often do they need to touch base? We've got a couple of partners who we close on the deal and then we don't hear from them. They don't ask questions. We don't hear from them until the refinancing. We have other partners who want to speak every week, who want regular updates, who want to be involved in all the details. I have my preference, what I prefer. There's a certain way that I do it, but I understand that it's an investment for them. And a lot of them want to learn. For a lot of them, it's their first deal. So they look at this as a learning opportunity too. So I look at it that way too. And I'm saying I'm the one who speaks to the partners. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, we're very transparent in everything. As soon as, we've got everything that comes out of the bank account. We've got shared bank accounts. Everything is tracked. You can see what every expense is. All the documents are uploaded to files, all the pictures, like they can go in and see whenever they want where we are with
where it's at.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that makes sense. And in finding those criteria, those partners, as you said, you have some fairly strict criterias. What's your ideal partner? What does he or she look like?
A very busy professional. Our ideal partner is a very busy, passive professional who is not strapped for cash, who's not going to be stressed out about going over budget, for example, because it happens. And up until now, we've been putting our money into all of the projects when we go over budget, knowing that we'll get back when we refinance. But it's when we have 8 renovation projects going on right now. So that's a lot of money we need to have accessible when needed. So the ideal partner is busy, doesn't want to know all the details, trusts us, sees the value in working with us. And I would say that's it. Do you have anything to add?
Well, the dream partner would be somebody who has a whole bunch of money. Just says, hey, Joey and Angela, can you go out and just manage this stuff for me and send me back the dividends and
Take my money.
Yeah,
So
make me happy.
You're looking for a dentist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Busy professionals. Okay, so once you found that busy professional that you're looking for and who's willing to commit, say, I don't know, 150K for the next 2 years or 3 years or whatever, how do you go about your documentation? Do you always use the same notary or lawyer? Like, what do you set up? What documents do you use?
So first of all, I just need to, what we've been doing up until now are BRRRRs. So the partners have been getting their money back within about 4 months. Our average turnaround time is 4 months.
For duplexes.
And triplexes and fourplexes. So up until fourplexes, we're looking at about 4 months that they need to be comfortable having their money out. But as I mentioned to you guys earlier, we're getting into some bigger deals right now. So it is going to be more like a year. They're going to get their money. So up until now, the documentation has been JV agreements or partnership agreements on Law Depot. And we use DocuSign, so everything goes through DocuSign. We work primarily with one specific mortgage person who keeps me up to date. We're chatting every day. She keeps me up to date on the various files and things. And I love that. So right now, because we're looking at getting into bigger deals, we're looking at finding a commercial broker like that who can do deals in New Brunswick, because that's where we're focusing right now.
We have the one lawyer as well that we're mainly using for New Brunswick stuff, but we should have backup plans in place that we don't really, but he's our main guy. We're happy with him. We've found, those trusted individuals that we like going to, that we like working with, that, that we can trust. And it goes a long way, but we should have some backup plans.
Yeah, you never know.
It's all about the network, guys. Relationships in real estate, and you have to take care of them. I say it all day long. People you work with, you have to take care of them. You have to make sure they make money, and it's repeat business. And they're going to be very happy to help you. And when you need them, they're going to answer your call.
Yeah. And often it's to build that relation. Well, every relationship, it needs to be built and maintained and stuff. And especially if you consider someone, a professional, I'm thinking of a lawyer or notary or something that you'll consider your backup, to actually, cultivate and nurture that relationship way before you might actually need him, because it takes time. And for him to be able to turn around on a dime and get those documents out by beginning of next week, if you call him on Friday and, you didn't invest into that relationship, like, you're just like everybody else who's trying to rush me. So once again, it's just to nurture it, to take care of them, and to maintain and let them know, like, look, we're doing, 6 deals a year. For now, we're working with someone. As soon as, there's space for you, I will definitely send you over the files.
Yeah. Our current lawyer, actually, I worked with him in Montreal like 20 years ago. We worked in a call center together. I was his boss, actually.
That's hilarious.
And he was referred to us when we were doing our first wholesale deal. And I'm like, I know that name. Like, did you used to work in Montreal? Because he's in St. John, New Brunswick now. So yeah, we reconnected, and
he's our guy.
We deal with him several times a week. Like, I love working with people like that. And yes, we need more of those people in our lives for sure. But we've got a mortgage person that we love, and we've got a lawyer that we love.
And so now you say you're starting to not walk away, but do some of the smaller deals, maybe like below 4 units, kind of more on your own, because now you have more confidence in capital, and now you're looking to scale up and put more units under one roof. So what does that look like? What's your ideal deal right now?
Well, the biggest building we have right now is a 6-plex. We have an offer out on an 8-plex right now. Once, let's say we get this one and it goes well, I'm very excited about this building, but maybe we'd go to a 16-plex and then a 32-plex, like the stack method. I think I'd like to follow the stack method instead of staying in the same zone forever. We've been doing it for 20 years now, the duplex to 4-plex. And
maybe
we
next time
there's no growth in that when you keep doing the same things you're always doing.
Right. So we're looking for properties where we can bring value. be it a renovation or changing the economic value or whatever the case is. We want to add that value because we're going to refinance to try and pull out as much of the money possible so that we can keep scaling up. We don't have a giant bank account where we can just buy 20 plexes and not worry about it. We have to keep making that money work. So it's I hate to say slow progress because we would go faster than what we've already done. We've gone really quickly, but the only thing holding us back is that we have to, make the same money work, so to speak. So that's the only thing that kind of holds us back a bit.
Maybe in the future in your process, maybe try to skip a step. So instead of going from 8 to 16 to 32, do 8 to 32 right away.
Yeah.
8 to 32 and then to 100.
There you go. Think big. 10x.
Exactly. And then you buy a whole office, an entire 25 floors all at once, $15 million deal.
So I was thinking of you this morning because I realized that when I left my job in November, we had 5 doors and now we have 50 doors. We 10x'd our business in a year.
Yeah.
And who comes to mind when 10x comes up? It's Dino.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, really? He's your primary reference for that? Wow.
Now he
Dino,
is.
good job.
Uncle D of Canada.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because, making a reference about Cardone, I remember listening to him early on in my career too. And he was like, you want to go buy like a $500,000 property and stuff? Well, okay, not bad. But why don't you go look for properties whose down payment is $500,000? And I was like, he's got a point. Yeah, maybe I should start to do that. So, we always get inspired by others, and then it's what we do with it.
The action part. You have to take action.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's limited beliefs. And we were actually talking about this before the recording on a podcast. And sometimes you limit yourself because you say, oh, I'm in the millions or I'm in the 10 millions or like, wow. It's just a zero or more, man. It's the same thing, the same process. Come on, man.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I do have luck when it comes to the $1 million mark because we haven't done deals that big yet. So that's why I think we're forcing ourselves now to overcome that hurdle so that it's behind us.
We're progressively getting there. We've started with duplexes, cottages, single family homes, went to triplexes, 4plexes. We got a 5plex and a 6plex. Now we're offering on an 8. So we're making those
baby steps.
Yeah.
Baby.
We just need to accelerate.
And you will. Look at what you've done over 1 year. I mean, maybe you guys can come back next year and tell us like how many 16-unit buildings you bought.
16. No, we're in the hundreds.
16, 32. And by the way, so those larger multifamily, are you looking in Quebec or in New Brunswick?
A little bit around Quebec, not in Montreal necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Brunswick a lot, but so far not so great or such great deals in Moncton for the bigger plexes. The smaller plexes work out great financially, but the bigger plexes are selling above what we were hoping to pay.
Yeah, we were able to get a couple of deals at $50,000 a unit in Moncton.
Wow.
And we're looking at minimum $100,000 a unit when we're looking at the bigger plexes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
If we actually get them at 100, like they're generally asking, 120 and up per unit, and they need a lot of work. So, yeah, the valuations, they just don't add up based on what we can do with a smaller plex. That's why we're so full on with the smaller plexes there, because the numbers just made way more sense.
Which is fine. I mean, you're not going to do a deal because you guys want to buy 8 doors or 16 doors. No, you have to buy it because the deal makes sense and the Benjamins are there. So exactly. I totally agree. Duplex, triplex, I'll buy them. I'm sorry?
To some extent, I do agree with you. However, the power of like focusing on something very specific can be very powerful. So I think I told you yesterday how we were deciding what we wanted our plans to be for 2022 in terms of revenue, and working backwards, what that meant was closing 8 doors a month. And that afternoon, an 8plex came into my inbox. So,
yay!
Yeah, exactly.
See when you put it out there.
Yeah, the power of intention.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You see how many of these eightplex come along, or maybe the 16plex and 36plex. That'll help. That'll help the curve 8 doors per month.
Yeah.
So I thought
go for it.
we were already at 32.
What? Well, yeah, if we got 32, we only would need to buy 4 buildings a year. Or 3, actually, 3 buildings a year. Yeah. So doing smaller, bigger deals will take longer and a little bit more concentration, but I suspect it's going to be nothing compared to doing 8 deals at the same time, closing on like 4 deals a month.
Yeah, it was a little nutty this past year. We definitely need a bit of a rest. We're looking forward to some downtime, like, having so many things going on at the same time in different places is really hard. But to have the same amount of doors in one spot and be focusing a similar amount of energy on one spot would be a little bit less taxing on the body and mind, I think. So yeah, the goal is definitely to find less, better quality, bigger deals.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. And that's why, because we started with, a condo with my wife and then bought a second condo. And then I was gung-ho on going into multifamily. And since the beginning, I've been wanting to put as many units under the same roof, because as you said, like when you do one roof, you actually redo 6 roofs. And when you change the plumbing, you change 5 plumbings and stuff like that. And it just makes it so much easier. And you'll see, like, managing an 8plex versus a 4plex is not twice the amount of work.
Right. We don't manage ourselves anyway. We have property managers. So we're at the point, we've got our property managers and virtual assistant, and my sister's in Moncton going around to places doing pickups, running around and doing stuff there. A bookkeeper. So we're starting to put things in place to free up some of our time, which is really exciting.
Let's talk about Moncton and Montreal. So you guys are in Montreal. You invest in Montreal, but you also invest in Moncton. Why did you guys decide to go over there?
Well, I have owned a duplex in Moncton with my parents since 2004. I've always known that it was a great market. It just wasn't our we both had full-time jobs. Had we started this sooner, it would have been so great. Anyway, so Moncton, the price point's lower. The rent is great. Tenant, it's more landlord friendly, and we've got teams in place in Moncton. So we have 4 renovation teams right now on the go.
Did you build your team before investing there, or you started investing first and after you build your team?
I think it happened at the same time. We got really lucky in finding people. Our real estate agent is also our property manager, which is awesome because he knows that the places we buy, he's going to have to rent out. So he has both hats on when he's showing us places. I love that. Yeah. And then, I grew up there, so I know the HVAC guy and the plumber, and
it makes a big difference.
It does. It makes a big difference. Yeah. Like, as opposed to here, we've had a hell of a time finding people to work in Trois-Rivières, Saint-Eustache, the Eastern Townships, because we don't have those people already in place. I'm sure there are great people who work there, but they're busy and expensive.
And so from now on, you talked a little bit about your goal for 2022. Where do you want to take this business in the next 2 to 3 years? Like, what's your objective, and at what point is enough going to be enough?
Good question.
Never enough.
Yeah, we say that at the beginning.
Well, it's hard to project. I know Angela has some ideas in her mind. I'm happy with what we've done this year. We only thought, like, when we first set out with this, we really were hoping maybe 5 deals this year. That was our goal, and we did that in the first month. And so, we've had a good year. It's all, if we double this in the next few years, fantastic. I'm in no rush. But
I'm the one who sets the goals.
Oh boy! Well, that's teamwork right there.
You should reread your JV agreement with Angela, Joey.
or your wedding agreement.
Yeah, so they're revenue goals. So based on revenue, primarily. I was initially setting our goals based on number of doors, but no, I'm making revenue because we're trying to set up something where we have employees and we're running as a proper business. So within a year, that's too long. Within 3 months, I want to have a proper business set up where people are getting paid properly and all of the corporations are flowing as they should from corporation to corporation. So that's in the process right now. We'll hire more staff. We need someone in charge of acquisitions, somebody who can help us with acquisition. And yeah, it's more of a revenue and financial goals, I would say. But moving forward, doing things all in our corporation as opposed to in our personal names.
Very important.
Yeah. Dino, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I'll stick with the corporation. I love it. I like where your head's at. Finally, after 50 doors.
Yeah, finally after 50 doors. So we did pick up a duplex in our own corporation without partners. And we're going to refinance that with a commercial mortgage. So we'll see how that one goes. As long as that goes as I hope it's going to go, we'll continue doing that. Plus the bigger deals with partners.
Cool. Well, so then we really have to have you back in a year from now to actually like get an update and see how far you've gotten. You know, you guys must be really proud.
Yeah, I'm amazed. I'm regularly amazed that this worked. I'm regularly like when we first opened the idea of working with partners, it was after listening to a podcast, Mandy Branham, the JV Queen, and we listened to that several times, and we're like,
does this work?
Is that really going to work? Are we going to find people who are going to
we can do that,
give us money and to do what we're doing anyway?
Yeah.
And to get mortgages? So there was a big learning curve. I mean, we learned a lot on the way.
But we also had lots of experience prior to deciding to do that, right? Like
yes.
a couple of different homes, a couple of different cottages. You know, I worked in construction and landscaping and stuff for many years. Facilities management. So there was a foundation there.
Yes, there was a strong foundation.
Yeah.
But figuring out the mortgage system, the BRRRR, the refinancing, the province to province, managing things from a distance, there were a lot of new things to, let's say, learn while doing. I mean, it was all learning while doing. We get an idea and we try it and we see if it works. And
yeah. The best school.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it's worked. Yeah. So sometimes I'm still amazed. And every time a refi comes back, an appraisal comes back, and it's higher than we were hoping, and we get back money to split. And our partners who were not even expecting to be making actually money are getting a $20,000, $25,000, and we're getting the same. Plus, we've got a property. I mean, the BRRRR is really amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing pump.
Put money in your pocket from that property.
Yeah.
Like,
yet you still own it. I know I've explained it to some friends in Europe and they're like, you do what? How does that work? It's impossible. I was like, nope, it's possible.
Because I don't think they can refinance the same way in Europe.
No. I spoke to someone in banking in Europe and they're like, banks would never allow that here. I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's why we have such a liquid market.
I think it's been happening for a long time, especially in big business, especially in commercial spaces where it's just a normal way of operation. It just was never really considered or used that much within the residential world. And there just wasn't really a term for it. But it certainly wasn't in the smaller residential world, maybe in the bigger residential world, but it's all new to us. But we had, like, I think we've talked to you guys a bit about it before, but it happened by accident at one of our cottages, right? We had the cash, we bought a second cottage, renovated it without the intention of pulling off any strategies. We were just doing it with cash because we didn't want to have a mortgage on it. And then we started having these ideas of doing partnerships, and we wanted to refinance, and we did refinance, and we got all the money back. It's like,
there's your aha moment.
Yeah.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
However, we had hit our debt to income ratio top, and we had 70,000 stuck in the deal. So I'm actually grateful that happened, because made sure that we wouldn't allow that to happen with partners.
It forced you to get creative.
Yeah. And it forced us to make sure that our partners didn't have too much debt coming into it, that they had good jobs. But we learned some mistakes there too. We had a partner who left jobs before refinancing. She got a new job. That happened twice. Yeah. So there are a lot of lessons that you kind of learn the hard way while you're learning while doing.
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, it all works out in the end. Real estate is very forgiving, as you guys know.
Yeah. In the long term, it's extremely forgiving. And we were talking about that with my wife, like, because we have an offer on a piece of land. And in some ways we think it was like, oh, it's a bit too expensive and stuff. And I'm like, hey, 15 years from now, will we really care that we overpaid 50K? Hell no.
15 months from now, you're not going to care.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Yeah.
We heard not long ago, investors rarely regret the acquisitions, but they always regret the sales.
Very good one. Ooh, I'm going to reuse that one. Yeah. All right. It's time to wrap up. Where can people find out more about you?
Well, you can go to our website, which is angelaandjoey.com. We're on Instagram at angelaandjoey.rei, or on Facebook. That's pretty much it.
Because they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Not on TikTok.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
And I would highly encourage everyone to come and join the Facebook group. Once again, it's Real Estate Investors of Montreal group. It's on Facebook. The meetup is usually Wednesdays, 10 to 12. You can join if you have a lot of experience. You can come if you have no experience. There's no dumb questions, and there's a lot of people to help you. So it's a great place for resource.
We love having new people come to the group. Fresh perspectives and new takes on things, and a new energy, let's say, that comes to the group. But we're there every Wednesday.
And you might be Angela Joey's new partner.
Yeah, who knows? Reach out, and maybe you'll see Dino and I over there just hanging out on the side. Who knows?
Dino's there almost every week.
Yeah.
Axel, we'd love to see you more often.
I know. It's just sometimes those hours, it's difficult to make it work, but I join whatever I can.
I know.
Thanks a lot, guys. It was great having you. Very inspiring couple.
It was fun.
Yeah, I'm really glad to share your story, because it's going to be inspiring for a lot of people. It is doable, and what I admire with you guys is that you are also still together. For a lot of couple, it's actually a major just renovating a house is a reason to split. So you guys have been doing it properly, and that's really a great takeaway for everyone there. So again, thank you for listening in today. We will have more coming next week, and as usual, and like we say with Dino, you got to get into the action. You got to make some moves. So go make some offers. There you go. Talk to you next week. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.